C1music.fm, the Familia. It is your host for the evening, Aaron Robinson. Definitely in the building. You know how we do, all day, every day. And it is today. Today is actually February 6th. And tonight our topic is reintroduce yourself. Reintroduce yourself. All right, so as always, the number to call in is 908-316-8630. And if you want to join us by web link, the web link is meetings.dialpad.com/C1 Productions. All of our episodes are posted on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. on the Spreaker Network. And once it posts on the Spreaker Network, you can listen to any of the major popular podcast platforms. Please follow, listen. And I would love everybody to start responding to some of the chat and quotes and just the episode in general. Give us your thoughts, respond. We can mention it on the show if need be. If some people are scared to talk on the show, you can definitely respond in some of our chats and things of that nature when the episode goes. And again, like I said, we would love to get your response. All right, to all my callers online, what's going on, panel? How y'all doing tonight?
Great. Good.
Miss Malloy,
Wonderful.
Miss Jones, thank you for joining us as well tonight. And like I said, tonight our topic title is Reintroduce Yourself. Are y'all ready to get it in?
Yes,
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So tonight, as I said, the title is Reintroduce Yourself. Now, there are many characters in the Bible who had to reintroduce themselves. Saul was a persecutor of Christians. He had to reintroduce himself as Paul, who was sold out for Christ, one of the greatest preachers to write and live. Job, who had to go through something and to come to a point where you may ask a question of him personally, but he didn't stop believing in God. Then he was introduced for the latter part of his life and was blessed for the former part. And then we have Peter, a fisherman by trade. Jesus made him a fisher of men, and he had a heart change. From then, he also had to reintroduce himself, and then he preached his first sermon on the day of Pentecost. And Jesus died on the cross for our sins, but had to reintroduce himself on a few occasions. Disciples didn't believe, and he called it nonsense. And that's in Luke chapter 24, verse 1 through 12. The gardener in John, verse 20, 1 through 18. Even doubting Thomas in John chapter 20, verse 24 through 29. And even on the road to Emmaus in Luke chapter 24, 13 to 35. So in the Bible, people had to reintroduce themselves on many occasions. Now, the definition of an introduction is the action of introducing something or a formal presentation of one person to another in which each told the other's name. So we find that who you are, what you're going to say, where you stand plays a part in grabbing people's attention when you're actually trying to reintroduce yourself. Now, interesting enough, at our church motto as of this year is reset. But sometimes, people won't let their history be what we say his history, meaning God's history. And there have been many times people in the church, they had to reintroduce themselves. People won't let the past be the past. And it's not awkward for somebody to stand up and say, yes, I'm the grandson or daughter of Deacon so-and-so and his wife, but allow me to reintroduce myself. So again, reintroduction, just a part of life. Sometimes you have to reintroduce yourself, even to yourself. James 1:23-27 says, those who hear God's teaching and do nothing are like people who look at themselves in the mirror. They see their faces and then go away and quickly forget what they look like. So we see that reintroduction and transformation is done. But Jesus always did it out of love when he pointed out for people to reintroduce himself. And God always led the way in doing so. And that's proved in Isaiah 42:16 and also in the New Testament in Acts 26:18. So my topic and story has to do with just that, a reintroduction. So I want to ask, because we usually have some healthcare people on the line. So I just want to ask this question to my healthcare professionals. Have you ever heard of the imposter syndrome?
Yes.
Anyone else? The imposter syndrome. I'm opening it up to anybody. Have you ever heard of the imposter syndrome?
No.
All right, cool. Well, sometimes known as the imposter syndrome, Capgras syndrome is a psychological condition where a person believes someone they know has been replaced by an imposter. Therapy may help them work through their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Also, over time, it may help them to still interact with the individuals that they believe are imposters. However, the Capgras syndrome is an irritational belief that someone in your life is not who they say they are and has been replaced by someone else. An individual who experiences this disorder may look at their partner and believe that the individual in front of them is someone pretending to be their partner. It can happen with anyone. It may happen with multiple people that the person knows, or even with items or animals that they're around. For most people, Capgras comes about as a side effect of Alzheimer's or dementia. They start to lose some of their memories, and the diseases themselves have a very strong effect on their sense of reality, which can result in this syndrome as a variety of different side effects. Not everyone who has either these age-related diseases will suffer from Capgras syndrome as well, but is one of the most common reasons that this syndrome does occur. The final least common way that this syndrome seems to develop is a brain injury. This is a very rare method and involves the individual somehow injuring their brain, typically the back of the right hemisphere. This is a portion of the brain that is related to processing facial recognition, and therefore damaging it can make it more difficult for someone to connect a face to a memory of what the person is. Here's an example. A man could recognize his parents when face to face with them. A man could not recognize his parents when he was face to face with them. However, when speaking to them over the phone, he did recognize them without any issue. So in this case, it is possible that the disorder was caused by a disconnect between visualization and facial recognition. Other recognition methods such as voice recognition were not affected in that case. So, if y'all all understand what this syndrome is, I want to jump right into my story. Are y'all ready?
Yes. Yes.
All right, I want everybody to meet Corey. Corey is 15 years old and just finished school, and his mom planned to send him to camp for a week. His uncle Jared, who is your husband, was taking him and dropping him off from camp while his mom, Tina, worked. Going for a week, upon his return, he turned the key in the door, walked in to greet his mom. "Hi, Mom, I'm home." She responded, "Who are you? And why are you trying to act like you're my son?" He said, "Mom, it's me, Corey. I'm back from camp." She said, "Leave now or I'm going to call the cops." Confused at what to do, he walked over to his mom and said, "Mom, what are you talking about? It's me, Corey." And as he approached, she screamed very, very loud, and all the neighbors heard her scream and immediately called the cops. Corey was shaken up and so confused on what is going on. He didn't know what to do. So he stood and talked to his mom from the other room. But she kept saying the doubt that he wasn't Corey. When the cops arrived on the scene, they asked Corey's mom, Tina, what is going on? And she said, this boy walked into my house saying that he's my son, but he's not my son. My son is at camp, and I'm waiting for him to get home. To all of the commotion, the cops decided to take Corey down to the station. And you and your husband had to pick him up. So Tina called her brother, your husband, and kept asking him, where's my son? Where's my son? Several times that night she called, and your husband eventually got fed up and convinced her to go see if her son was at the hospital. While at the hospital, the doctors convinced her to run tests on her. And then they told Jared, her brother, who was your husband, that she had this imposter syndrome, Capgras syndrome. They explained everything to Jared about the syndrome, and Jared was devastated. Not only that, they also explained that if Corey wants to continue to have a relationship with his mother, they would need to tell Corey to tell his mom that he died while he was at camp. Then give her some time to mourn, and then he would need to reintroduce himself to his mother as a friend of the area, and then build a relationship with her that way. Jared, confused on how to explain this to Corey, he turns to you, his wife, and says, can you talk to Corey for me? I'm sorry, I can't do it. So my question is, what will you say to Corey? How will you say it? And what type of response are you looking to get from Corey, a 15-year-old, when he hears this? I have to tell my mom that I'm dead and reintroduce myself. The floor is yours.
I would be in shock to even think, how do you tell a child something like that? How would he, I would expect him not to respond so well about that.
Well, he didn't respond at all. So, we don't know how he's going to respond. I'm asking you, how do you expect him to respond? You pretty much telling the 15-year-old that he has to...
Totally confused and what's going on? Why do I have to do that? That would be my first question of it. Yeah. The child. Why do I have to do that? What's wrong?
Well, the reason
would know that something is wrong with his mom, that he would have to do that.
Right. Obviously, he would know that something's wrong with his mom, but you will have to do that because as long as he goes into the house, his mom is going to think that he's an imposter, and she will always call the cops on him, and she would never have a relationship with him at all. From that point, from the last time he seen his mom, up until now, whatever that last moment was before he left, is the only thing that she's going to remember of him going forward, unless he reintroduces himself to her. And he would never be able to replace himself as her because she's always going to be looking for him. She's going to be always calling the cops saying, hey, I need you guys to find my son, even though her son is right there. So the doctor suggested that you say that he's gone.
He said he's 15.
15 years old. That is correct.
Wow.
He may be able to understand, depending on if he's a mature 15-year-old child.
Well, how would you even say it to him? Like, what would you say to him? Like, how would you say it to him? Like, hey, listen, your mom has to think you're dead. Like, how do you explain that to him?
You started off really good. You look, Corey, I have something to tell you. The reason why your mom doesn't recognize you, she has this illness, and in order for her to remember or recognize who you are, you're going to.
She's never going to recognize who he is.
Yeah.
She's never going to recognize who he is again.
Yeah, you did say that. Okay. So
I probably I probably would like explain like you saying, or like they were saying that the mom has a sickness, and I would have them maybe read up on it to some degree, or on even on Alzheimer's or dementia, and talk about how even like when that the person can't remember the person, and this is some form of that or close to that and everything. And I would probably let him. I would explain to him the whole situation, and his mom, doesn't recognize him or whatever, and explain to him what he would need to do, and if he wants to do that. I would give him time. You may not, he may say no at the time. I wouldn't pressure him or anything. I would give him time, because maybe after a while he would want to spend time with his mom, so he might be willing to, a little after a while, might be willing to do that. And maybe we would come up with a name that's close to his real name or something. And but I would let it be kind of his decision to do, because I think at some point he probably would some kind of way want to have the relationship with his mom. So I probably would just, I wouldn't pressure him at the time. I would give him time and let him decide. If he says no at that time, then I would leave it at that for the time being, and then let him decide. Maybe I'm thinking that he'll change his mind and want to do whatever it takes to have some kind of relationship. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay, so where would Corey be staying while he's waiting? After he's been told that his mom has a condition and she doesn't recognize him, blah blah blah, and that he has to she's thinking that he has to be dead. Be told that
where's his dad? I'm thinking it'd be with his dad.
Oh, okay.
Where's his dad? They not together?
They don't live together?
Nah. No dad in
he
the
kept
picture.
talking about the uncle.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering.
So, Sister Jones, he can't stay with you?
He would stay with his aunt and uncle?
He can't stay with you?
Well, yeah, whoever them people are. Yeah.
Well, you his aunt.
So where's his? Okay, but and married to his mother's brother.
Right.
Brother.
That is correct.
Okay. So yeah, he can stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
Does the mother recognize the brother?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he? Does she?
Yes.
Just
And not her own son.
Oh, she only don't recognize him?
Mm-hmm. That is actually
okay.
possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know he feels some kind of way. Yeah. The son, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. He might be hurt and don't want to. So maybe for a while, I would give him some space to make a decision. He's 15, so I would give him some space to make that decision. And I'm thinking that, and even praying that he would want to have some kind of relationship with his mom. So, like I said, call him something that's real close to what it is, and that would be for his sake, because the mom is not going to know him as her son. And then as he gets older, he can decide what he want to do. But yeah, and hopefully the mom will be getting some treatment or some help or some kind of way.
Hold on real quick. Sister Nance, I wanted to ask you this question. If you was Corey, whether you 15, let's say 20, 30, whatever age, and you was hit with this devastating news that your mother doesn't know who you are, and you walk in the house one day and she's going hysterical, want to call the cops on you and everything, and she's functioning fine. It's just that she's saying that you are not who you say you are, and then you find out that she's never going to remember you or recognize you ever again. How would you take that?
Well, that's a real life situation for me and Barbara, because our mother had Alzheimer's, so it did come to a point in time where she did not recognize us, didn't know who we are. So I went in the room somewhere and I cried, and then I came back and I just said, well, I just got to get adjusted to her as somebody else. And so I think that having that kind of history, I think that's what I would do. I would just have to rebuild a different type of relationship with her. Because when you have that kind of illness, your reality is just completely different. And it took me a while because there were certain things, like when my father had passed away, and Mommy would say, his name was Elder, well, where's Elder? Where's Elder? And I said, well, Mommy, Daddy passed away. And she'd start crying. 15 minutes later, she'd say, and meanwhile, I'm telling her about 6 different times that my father passed. She's going through the anxiety 6 different times until finally I realized that her reality is different, and you have to just kind of play along with it. So he's at the store. He'll be back later on.
That works.
Yeah, we just come up with different things.
So, but my question is, at that time, I don't know how old your mother was, but if she's still able to...
Well, you said it didn't matter what age I was. You said I could be 20 or 15
that is correct.
or whatever.
But I'm saying, I feel like your view of the situation will be kind of different depending on the age you are and the age she is. Like if your mom is like kind of sickly and pretty much living her last days, that's going to have a different effect on the situation.
She lived 2.5 years after that. She lived for another 2.5 years.
But I'm saying, if your mom was like in her 40s and you're in your 20s or whatever the case may be, and she still got life ahead of her, like years, you know what I mean? I think that would affect you a little bit differently.
I would just have to get adjusted to a different type of relationship.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
well,
I just have to.
I agree with that.
I have to suck it up,
Yeah.
Well, I would try and talk to him and let him know that even though your mom does not know who you are as her son, you guys can have a wonderful relationship, even if she thought that you were her friend. And she will love you just as much thinking you are her friend as she would, your being the son. So, like you said, you would just be adjusting to, and I know for him that, he's being 15, it's a lot easier to say that as maybe a 20, 30-year-old. But I would try and convince him and to not force him, to try and convince him to try it that way, as to be her friend, because that you can have just as good as a relationship as her thinking that you're my friend. Because of course, we went through that as well. And my mom didn't know me anymore as her daughter, but I became her good friend. And we had just a great time together, long as she knew that you loved her and her friend. So I would try and put it to him that way and see if that could be some kind of help to him.
And help him to understand that it's not that, she's sick. So it's not something she's doing intentionally or trying to hurt him. That's one thing that he has to be made to understand. Because sometimes even dealing with the dementia person, even, with, the elderly and whatnot, you got to understand that, they're not doing things to hurt you. They don't know who you are, not intentionally, and all those kind of things. So you just have to be made to understand that. And then I think he'll make those adjustments. And as June said, develop a different relationship, yeah.
Because he has to realize that even though he's hurting from this, she also is hurting from this.
Because she thinks she lost her son, too.
Right. Well, do y'all think there's another way to go about it instead of saying that he died? Because you have to give an explanation of why she can't see her son anymore. So what would be the explanation? If the doctor says, hey, let's let her know that he passed away, and he doesn't want to say that she passed away, what would be another explanation of why she would never be able to see him again?
He went to college abroad.
Moved out of the country. Yeah, he's out of the country.
At 15 years old, like she could put up a fight saying that,
There's
hey,
no way my
yeah,
15-year-old son, y'all gonna tell me my 15-year-old son went abroad.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know that anymore.
But she doesn't have her right mind. So
no.
No, she does.
No, she does
I
have
don't
a right.
think
That's
so.
what I'm trying to get y'all to.
This with I saw that episode.
Yeah,
Huh?
But yeah, it is informed, but it's not the same thing. So everything else is okay. She just
Right,
doesn't
so it's not
recognize
the same.
him. Just him. So the core of their relationship is the same, huh?
that's what I was trying to explain to him because
That's the big difference.
yeah, because they're processing it as like a form of dementia, which technically it is, but a person can still function.
But it's selective, huh?
Yes, it's selective.
Yeah,
The person can still.
That's real painful. Then that's hurtful. Then everybody in the world can remember, except for one person, her own son. Wow.
And what's bad about talent is what's bad about them saying he died. She's not going to remember he died. So you're going to have to say that all the time.
Well, not necessarily. This person doesn't have dementia.
Nah, it's not.
This person is normal in all other circumstances. So that doesn't mean that she won't acknowledge that he's dead.
She would acknowledge that
And
he's
he'll
dead.
remember that. She has to be able to remember
she has
that.
to have a memory.
Wouldn't she
It's only
wonder why
that
she
one
didn't
guy.
why she didn't go to the funeral?
She probably will. And
Where's his body?
She's still seeing them.
well, here's the other thing.
She's not seeing him.
Okay,
She
she's
doesn't
not seeing
recognize
him.
his
You
face
tell her
or his
he's
voice as
dying.
his.
I want to say this
Okay,
too.
you tell her he died. He's going to still be seeing her. So why would you
But
tell
she
him?
doesn't look and she doesn't know that her son, that's her son. So I guess you could have a funeral and say you can't see the body. I don't know. Can't see the body or whatever. But I don't know if I would want to say he died.
I don't either.
Okay, so
My only concern is if you don't say he died, no matter what else you
why
say,
can't she see him?
she's still gonna want him. He moved somewhere. Well, why aren't we in contact with him?
Right,
Somebody
yeah,
get
exactly.
Yeah, she's gonna keep on questioning about her
Yeah,
son.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make it final would be he died.
right.
But yeah, because even if you say he's out of the country, it'd be like, well, we can video chat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 'cause all this other stuff. Yeah, wow.
Also, I want to point this out. Currently, in the present moment, he has to live with his uncle or whoever, a relative. But at the present moment, she knows her son as an imposter, meaning somebody that tries to break into her home. So she also has to have a period of time to let that pass before y'all do the reintroduction. Because if you try to reintroduce her a couple of days after, she's going to recognize him as you tried to break into my home.
That's the imposter. Yeah. Well, he gonna have to stay with somebody.
He can't stay with you?
Well, wouldn't she gonna see him if he at my house?
She not at your house. She has her own house.
Right, but I'm saying if we not living that far apart, if I can come over it and she wanted to talk to me, I said I don't think we're living that far apart, are we? If I'm out of state, then that's fine.
No,
but
you're
if
not
I'm
out of
not,
state.
then
Have to go. I mean, he would be in your home.
She would never come over to my house.
She could. I mean,
How
I don't
often
know.
do you go to your brothers and sisters' houses?
Enough. I mean, enough times I see them enough times during the course of a month or a year or whatever. Enough that. Yeah, all right.
So wait a minute. I don't know. I'm not getting this quite.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to tell his mother that he passed away. Okay, but so now, in order for him to see his mother, he has to. What you say the topic was? I forgot.
Reintroduce yourself.
Reintroduce. Okay, he would have to come back and reintroduce himself.
Correct.
But is he going to come back and reintroduce himself as the son?
No.
As a friend, I thought you said.
Because if he did, I don't even know why he got to come back and reintroduce himself.
Because he still wants the relationship with his mom. It's just going to be a different. The core of their relationship is there because he loves his mother and his mother loves him. She just doesn't recognize him as him.
As her son.
Right.
So she technically will have to, but she loves her son. But if they say he's dead,
she may love her son, but she doesn't love that individual that she thinks is not her son. They don't have a relationship.
So they will have to refall. She will have to refall in love with her son again, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah, she would have to be like, like he would have to come back and they would have to be like friends. Because with mom, she didn't know me for a long time. I mean, it started kind of early. Like I would say I was worried. No, you're not. She would always say, no. She always referred to me as that lady. But she knew the rest. She knew everybody else. And then as the years went by, she started like not remembering others. But it hurt me to my heart that she didn't know me. But at the same time, I knew she was sick and she couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Right. But she just she said, "Where's Margaret?" She would always say, "Where's Margaret?" I say, "Mom, right here," and she would go off. No, you're not. I mean, she didn't threaten to call the cops or anything, but she would just have a fit, and she didn't want me to do nothing for her. And like June said, like when she did start not knowing who June was, then June formed this relationship with her. But she wouldn't let me do it because I was there and I tried, but she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me come nowhere near her hardly.
So for me, you have to be whoever it is they need you to be.
Right.
Exactly.
So I was just that lady. So I had to be that lady. Because he used to tell dude, that lady didn't feed me, that lady over there. All the time.
But ladies, like, I'm asking this question. Who do you suggest that he say he is?
Oh, that he says what?
What?
Who do you suggest that this 15-year-old boy say he is?
The onus should not be on the 15-year-old boy. The other adults in the family, whether it's the uncle or whoever, introduces him as somebody. Maybe a relative that they didn't know about, whatever. The onus is not on him to explain who he is. The onus is not on him to say that the boy died. I mean, it's not on the kid.
He's just a child. He shouldn't have to have that responsibility.
Somebody else has to set that up.
So
yes, I've been listening, to a lot of different opinions, and I'm seeing that we're talking about the mother, but then we're not focusing in on the boy. To me, myself, I think that he would need someone outside of the family that he could take and trust and talk to. I don't know if it would be a youth pastor or someone that the family doctor or someone to help him to cope with the change also. So we focus in on the mother accepting about him, but we also got to think about his emotion and what he's going through also, because I'm sure mothers has a special bond, at least I think, with their son. And so he's losing something also too. It's a good, I'm listening, but then my heart is looking at, I know the mother don't recognize him in the type of condition that it is, but I'm also looking at him because he had a relationship with his mother. I'm sure she probably encouraged him if he was a sport person or music or something, that now he don't have that in his life either. I just want to bring that out as I was listening to the different opinions.
To me, that would be hard because if let's say
I agree.
if let's say
Aaron, is the assumption that they had a good relationship?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it would be hard
Because
to say.
all parents and children don't, but in this case they did. Okay.
But let's say he. I'm gonna use my brother for instance. Let's say he played the piano. So if he reintroduces himself and he starts playing the piano, and she says, "Oh, my son, he used to play the piano all the time. He was very good. He was gonna, you know what I mean?" That would be hard. If I was in his position, that would be hard to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because every little thing that I'm talented in or whatever will always bring back the memories for her. She would tear up or get upset or, because she misses her son as well. And some of the things that I do will remind her of her son.
That might be it initially, but sometimes those types of things actually brings comfort to the person.
Yeah. Yes, I was going to say that. That you, I mean, even if you was to say, yes, I'm sure if you've played the piano, you know some of her favorite songs, even if you were to play that. And my son used to do that. Well, yes, your son told me that you like this, and you play and, get at her heart that way, to get her to start to trust you and to enjoy you. So maybe that's a way of saying it. Yes, your son told me you like this song or whatever.
You can't say your son told me because she's going to start looking around. Well, yeah, when did you talk to him?
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, this is from before. I mean, before he died.
So that would be a backstory you just have to make up.
Oh man, that's hard.
I mean, I made up a whole bunch.
Not like I talked to him yesterday.
I'm not saying I spoke to him yesterday.
You just say that you just know the song. Or whatever song
exactly.
you play, that it's not like he's the only one that knows it. So just whatever songs. I mean, they're out there. So you sing them or play them too.
Yeah, because you don't want to make a bunch of lies and then have to try and keep up with all those stories.
Yeah, you don't say.
But I did.
All right, Carm, talk to me, Carm. Carm, what do you think?
So I'm thinking from the very beginning when I have to talk to him that I would kind of get a common ground with him talking about circuitry, kind of how when you cross wires, things work differently, to get him to understand that. And then slowly go into talking about how the brain kind of works like that. For whatever reason, this happened to your mom. This disease kind of works like this. I understand, this is difficult. I'm here with you every step of the way. Definitely get the child counseling. Let the counselors at school know, but also someone outside of school and everything that they can just completely tell everything to. Look to see if there's any other children that have gone through something like this or young adults that could talk to him, to relate to him about it. Do my research on that, and then say, well, I know your mom is going to keep looking for you because she's believing that you're gone. We're going to have to, talk to her about that. Let's talk together and get some ideas, and I can kind of tell you what I'm thinking to get the buy-in, to see if he's willing to do that or not. And maybe kind of like what the other ladies were saying, that if he plays music, and then he's really good at music, then kind of introduce him as, oh, this is a friend, or maybe say that, he lost his mom at one time, and my mom used to love this song too. Something to kind of have that connection to where you're not always constantly telling all these stories and can't remember what you said.
And that would be the truth. Yeah.
And that would be the truth. So what you do.
He lost his mother too.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just kind of lead with those stories going back and forth that, or maybe say that, hey, I'm sorry that I, came into your house. I was missing my mom, and our house was a lot like this, or our apartment was a lot like this, so that she has empathy for him. and that can help them get closer together. And then there'll be all these things that the son did, and the mom's like, oh, well, my son used to do that, or we can have in common, or maybe some new things that they can bond over.
Hey, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell Carletta watched the show too.
Right. I'm cricket because I watch
Oh man, that's funny right there. So for everybody who don't know, I took this once in a while. There's a TV show I told you that I started watching on Netflix, but they have like a whole bunch of seasons, and once in a while they have an episode that you be like, that's interesting. And so I actually took, I think one of those episodes, the one that Should I Get a Divorce, came from this show. And this topic tonight came from this show as well. To me, it was a crazy storyline, and it was one of those things that make you think, wow, like if I was in that situation, what would I do? And like to me, I was just like, when I first seen it, and I'm like, man, like if I was him, like I don't know if I could do that, man. That's hard, like to be like a young kid and have to live the rest of your life seeing your mother, talking to your mother, but that's not that's not your mother. It's just like, yeah, that's devastating to me. I mean, we can and I think Miss Martin was right. We can empathize with the mom, but for the son, that's tough, man. That's a tough one. And I know from some of y'all are speaking from experience from dealing with this at a with your moms being at an older age. But I couldn't imagine at 15, 20, even 25 where my mom is functioning every single day, going out grocery shopping and everything, and I run through her, I run past her, and she don't know me as her son. That's just, I don't know.
Unreal.
That's kind of crazy.
And I know Andre.
Yeah, that's even crazier.
Oh yeah, that'd be wicked.
Yeah,
I know Andre, but who are you?
or like, to be honest with y'all.
But that's why I was saying earlier that I would leave it up to the son at which point he connects back, because that I said that would be hard for him. And so I would leave it up to him as to give him some time and let him decide if he wants to make that connection or when he wants to do it, because that would be extremely hard.
So I want to put this on the table for y'all now. I want to ask, if considering this, let's say you was in your 40s and, let's say your spouse got injured and somehow, and he's going to make a full recovery, but with that, he developed this syndrome, and out of everybody he knows, he doesn't recognize you as his wife. He keeps asking for you as his wife, but you standing there, he doesn't know that you're his wife. What would you do? Would you divorce
I guess
him?
it depends on what my relationship was with him. Hey.
Miss Malloy, come on now. What's up?
Might be a thank you, Jesus.
That might be a thank you, Jesus moment.
What?
She said,
I
thank you,
that
Jesus.
might be a thank you, Jesus moment.
Oh man, that's cold.
But seriously, what would y'all do? Like, if you still young enough to get remarried again, like, would you consider getting remarried? Would you just deal with the fact that for the rest of your life, he's not going to recognize you as his wife, but you still be loyal to him? Like, how what would y'all do? The floor is open for anybody to speak.
I don't know.
Would you consider me an upgrade?
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
All right.
I'd let him go live with whoever it is he did recognize.
You keep the house? What if he functions he functions in his house and everything? Everything is cool. Like you probably the one that have to move.
Okay, that's fine too.
The one I wind up being his maid, his cook and his maid.
Exactly.
You can. I mean, but would you settle for that?
Yeah.
Would you settle for that? Miss Plummer, would you settle for that?
Yeah, I'd stick with him if he wanted me to stay, because he might not want me around since he doesn't recognize me.
And be his maid? You would be his maid?
Sure. I would do whatever I have to do for him.
Okay.
Well, that's God. Bless God. You might build up this other bond with him, like another kind of relationship with him.
Yeah.
Like maybe start over dating or something like that.
So you would encourage him to cheat?
Cheating on his wife.
Yeah. You want to encourage him to cheat?
Exactly.
He might be okay with it.
All right, y'all. All right.
Oh man, y'all shut out, man.
Yeah, change your look a little bit, and maybe you might get him to fall in love with you, and y'all start over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that depends on how the marriage was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how. Because if he was taking me through a whole lot and all that, then I'll be like, okay, I'm glad he don't know who I am. I'm out.
But if you had a really good relationship, then you would do like I think June, whoever was saying about just act like but just saying like act like you're another woman, and then because as far as you're concerned, he's your husband. So
right.
And then you could just build that relationship back up with him,
and let him
and
cheat.
he can think you somebody else.
And let him cheat on you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he might not do that if he's. Let's say he's a Christian.
Would he think he's cheating?
Yeah.
Well, what would you say that
Well,
you're
then his
dead?
wife had to die.
In his mind, he may think that, but he's not.
But I mean, unless you tell him like you passed away too, like would you lead him to believe that you died?
Exactly.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Sister Jones, you got a problem with that?
That's risky. I mean, you could say you passed away, but then what if he's not attracted to you and goes out and finds somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the person passed away, that doesn't mean that he's going to bond with whoever you are or whoever he perceives you to be. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm.
You don't know. I don't know.
See, that's the tricky one, because if you're married, you live with each other, you've got shared assets. So how are you going to pull that off?
You can't be dead, yeah.
Like, you can't be dead, but I mean, when you have to go to the bank or he wants to sell the house or whatever, what are you going to do? You have a joint bank account and, money's coming out. He's like, what's going on? And, it's my wife. I can't find her. And
wow.
Can I be my wife's twin sister?
Did you have a twin? I mean, you can't
nothing
show.
like her.
Yeah. And you can't just pull up out the blue.
You don't recognize his wife. You don't recognize you. Like, yo, my wife don't look like that. No. So that wouldn't work.
Just like that, if I'm supposed to be dead or whatever, wouldn't I look like her?
If he doesn't recognize your face, you as his wife, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're going to be the twin sister and do what?
I'm saying then that's why we look alike.
The twin sister she never had.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you don't look like
his
wife, though.
He doesn't know what his wife looks like if he doesn't recognize.
That's what I was getting ready to say. He doesn't know what she looks like. Meaning he don't know who she is.
I guess I'm the maid then.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he treats me right, I guess I'm gonna go with being the maid.
As long as he tips you.
No, I got his bank account. I mean,
you can pay yourself.
I'm gonna get paid.
Very well.
The house needs to get clean, so
He gonna say, who is this lady keep going in my bank account taking my money?
Then you get
Because
fired.
I was thinking, what if you run the risk of you pretending to be someone else and he says things to you like, oh, you're more beautiful than my wife was? Or what if he starts saying crazy stuff? Oh, you're so much better. And you would feel great.
I would be mad, but I would hate me.
And then start complaining to you about his wife.
Exactly.
Everything that was wrong with her.
I couldn't stand her.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I felt the same way about my husband. No, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all shout out, man.
Listen.
But
that is crazy.
To me, it was a crazy situation. Reintroduce yourself. So to bring it to a close, I just wanted to get so everybody's on board with saying that the son passed away.
Yes, because otherwise she's going to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's problems with it because you're going to have to share that with family and friends too, but I don't see another way out.
Would you hold
but the family and friends would know that she's sick.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to share with family and friends the story that you gave the mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, those close would know. They would know anyway. So.
Yeah, they would know.
What if somebody slip up and say, "I just seen your son"?
Oh well, they're gonna have to fix it. Just clean it up, you know.
How do you fix that?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's alive. Oh man.
Yeah, I was saying they probably just saw somebody that looks like him.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. We all have doppelgangers.
Yeah. Well, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, shoot.
Aaron, it's to you, Aaron.
Go ahead.
I know you the chief here. So would you want him to? Would you say that he passed away? What's your take on it? Since you asked us all these questions.
I'm gonna speak as the uncle, and I'm also gonna speak as the son. As the uncle, I threw that ball to my wife, so I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna let her deal with that.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah, that's a hard conversation to have. You know what I mean? And whoever's gonna have that conversation gotta have some really good compassion and really know how to word that. That's not. I think I would be, as a man, just in general, I would be too raw because I wouldn't know what to say, man. That would be like, yeah, just toughen up, kid. And that's not the right thing to say. So I don't know. As the son, if this is the only way that I can have a relationship with my mother, then I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? That would be the most important thing. And to be honest with you, I think that a lot of times, a lot of people take the relationships that they have for granted. So I think that I even feel like personally that if that had happened, that I would go out my way to build a relationship with my mom. That would be so important, at least for me, for the rest of my life, more so than, you know what I mean? Like I feel like me and my mom have a good relationship now, but I'm just saying, like, that will put like an extra quotations over it because I have to rebuild she has to see me as a whole new different person now. And so for me, I would have to, it will be on me mostly to make the effort, you know what I'm saying, to build a relationship with her. Cause she's, who am I to her? So I have to like build a relationship with her and make it my business. So however way I have to get her to quote unquote have a liking to me or fall in love with me, however you want to call it. Whether I'm the good Samaritan, I come over and rake the leaves for her, cut the grass, whatever it was that, I would do on a normal basis or wouldn't do, but probably would stand up and do now because of the situation at hand. I would just make the extra effort, to be around my mom. And if it means that I have to be somebody else, that would be important to me to want to do that. And it would make me want to build a relationship with her even more.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I hope that I don't ever have to experience nothing like that, though. Yeah. But Mom, keep your sanity. But that's like I said. That's
what you said.
I said keep your sanity.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I try.
But I mean, even for you all who experience something similar to this, I mean, I know that's tough. And one of the things for me personally, I never really shared this, but one of the things personally, even with the instance of my grandmother, for me, like me and my wife had talked about this a couple of times, but for me, it was just, I didn't want to remember her, like sickly and stuff like that. When I have memories of her, I always wanted the memories that I had in the past already. Like, I mean, the stories we had, and I know Jennifer remembers the big beat down.
Right, with the
just all of that's like I wanted to remember when I.
So that's how you want to remember her.
Yeah, I'm saying I want to remember the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't.
What you remember is the big beat down.
No. But I'm saying, like, I just wanted to remember all the good experiences. I didn't want to sit there and see her, slowly dying. You know what I mean? That's just that's not something that I know that family always need to gather around each other and hold each other up. But I mean, that's going to be, for me, just saying that, it's going to be hard for me to even deal with that, with experiencing that with my own parents. So, you know what I mean? That's like, that's tough. So I commend anybody who had to go through that experience already. You know what I mean? And hopefully...
You act like you're expecting us to go through that.
Nah, I'm just saying that's deep though. I mean, like, that's not... I'm not saying that, but
You're not claiming that.
I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying that it's real.
Keep your sanity.
What you say?
I say he told you, keep your sanity.
Yeah, man. But I'm just saying that's deep. So,
y'all heard, yeah, you heard about right in South Plainfield, the mother that had Alzheimer's, and she was right in South Plainfield in Aristocrat or whatever, the one in South Plainfield. And another patient, the mother was in the nursing home with Alzheimer's, and another patient, when the kids came up, the mother's face was all swollen, her face beat in with something. They beat her with a spoon or something. Another patient beat her with something. And they didn't even do anything.
Nah, that's not what's up, man.
I'm talking about the hospital itself, the nursing home.
Yeah, they should have informed them and everything. Like, that's not.
I mean, but the patient that was going around, I think they said, didn't they say that wasn't even the first time that happened? That the person that, I mean, that had happened before, but the person should have been, I mean,
in a psych
I don't know if you could have removed them or what, but something, she shouldn't be allowed to roam around if she go into people's rooms beating them up.
But did they take their mother out of that nursing home?
Well, yeah, but that's what they were planning. That was the plan, to get her out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, because if the nursing home isn't going to do it, then you got to get them out.
They put it on the news, so there might be other people taking their family members out of there.
Why can't they put the lady? Why can't they put the lady who's beating everybody up, put her into like a mental hospital or something?
No, but they didn't. The lady that was beating people up didn't. She the one should have been removed.
Being a straight
But
jacket or
they
something.
hadn't done anything, and they were saying that wasn't the first time.
Yeah, that's not the move.
Where was this at?
It's in
In
South Plainfield.
Oh, because it sounded like
Up
this
here.
place in Westville.
No, I think
Where
it
my-
said South. I think it said South Plainfield. Did it, Elder?
I thought there was 2 situations that went on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, one was the lady you talking about, and then the man in Westville.
Okay. This one was. I thought they said Aristocrat in South Plainfield.
South Plainfield and
Yeah.
Westville.
Yeah. And then the one in Westfield where this guy, they took and charged the man there.
What did he do?
He killed
He
somebody.
beat, yeah, they died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because my friend was in there. And he had
It was
surgery
a
on his
patient?
foot.
Yeah. How can they charge him though if he's like, was he mentally
Wait,
messed
2
up?
patients?
Yeah, he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So how can you actually technically charge him though?
So why he beat up?
Well, they did because I think didn't the person die?
But even
Yeah.
if he died, I mean, like he
Yeah,
didn't know he was
Alzheimer's
killing.
doesn't give you the right. That's not a charge to kill
Yeah, but he
somebody.
doesn't know.
Yeah, but he doesn't know.
No,
That's a
he
mental
doesn't.
illness.
But even that said, why would he be killing somebody though?
I
Yeah.
understand with everything that you're
Well,
saying, but it's
honestly,
still a mental illness.
sometimes when you do all,
They get
yeah, I was getting ready to say, it's fearful. If you don't know, just imagine you don't know where you are. These people are coming at you, touching you,
Okay.
talking to you
Yeah.
like I mean, honestly, I would be just swinging, to be honest. If I had Alzheimer's, I always say, God help me. I pray I don't, because I would be really mean, because I don't like people touching me. Like when you're in the hospital, it's already invasive already. You know, if you can't do things for yourself, people are already touching you in ways you don't want. And, you know, and because it's a job to them, they might not even say anything to you. Just come on in your room and, you know, you smell, so I got to change your diaper, and just start messing with you. And to me, you know, that's scary.
I mean, even when they're nice, if you
Right.
are coming at them and you're talking to them and you're not giving them the answer they want to hear, they get agitated. And, you know, so yeah.
Like my friend was in the one in Westville. He had surgery on his foot. So they had like this big old thing on his foot. And he had dozed off to sleep. And the man in the room with him had Alzheimer's. And he woke up because the man had his leg and pulling his leg up and trying to pull the thing, the calf thing off. And that's how I know the person died in there, because he said they moved him out that room, and then I don't know if it was that person, but it was somebody else. He told me later that he said they got all these Alzheimer's people there, and then they killed somebody. They beat the guy up, and then the guy died.
Yeah, he sure did, because they had the
sometimes they
picture on TV. They showed the man
Sometimes I
on
can
TV.
see that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have them on a lock unit, like behind, because of the fact that, you know, I mean, not because they're necessarily dangerous, but because they could wonder, you know, oftentimes they can. So,
Yeah, that's a trait with Alzheimer's. Yeah.
So
Good folks.
that's sad.
As our pastor always say at our church, be safe, be blessed, be well.
Be in your right mind.
Be in your way.
That's what he said too.
Yeah. Shout out to Diane Orr for joining us tonight. Thank you for listening in.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. And yo, we out of here, man. Y'all have a good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay.
God bless.
Good night.
Goodbye.